How you going, guys? It's Jordan from Vector Health, one of the exercise scientists here. Today we're just going to go through some of them fundamental exercises, nailing those basics. So these exercises today, these are some of the exercises we like to promote to our juniors. Alright, so from anywhere from 10 to 16 years of age. These are those exercises that we like them to dominate before we progress them into their training. So our first one is our front and side planks, so working on that anti-rotation aspect. So we need that in sport, so we need to stiffen up so we're not losing that trunk stability when we go to change direction or get contact in a field-based sport. So for this one, so our front plank, so our positioning. So we want elbows straight on the ground, so elbows should be in line with shoulder. From there, feet straight back, and we're trying to keep nice and neutral spine, alright? You'll tend to see a lot of juniors trying to dip through here, alright? So dipping through that lumbar spine, we're trying to really lift up the hips nice and high. So maintaining nice neutral spine, alright? Staying nice and stiff, alright? If that's too hard, then we drop them down to the knees and really focus on that bracing aspect of pulling the elbows to the knees and really bracing hard. Awesome, so our next one is our side plank. So very similar, so looking for, first up, just on knees, looking from the back, so we want heels in line with the spine. From there, we're just trying to keep a nice straight line through our body. So we're going to drill knees into the ground, lift hips up, and then we're trying to maintain a nice straight line through here. So most often our juniors, you'll see them start to dip through this way, so that shoulder starts to come over. So we're trying to maintain, open back up, and hold nice strong position from there. The progression from that is straightening out the legs, and same idea, applying pressure into the feet. So now we've got a longer lever arm, so further away from the body. Lifting up from there, nice straight line. Trying to reduce that rotation, hold nice and stiff. So for those two exercises, that front plank and side plank, we're aiming to get around 90 seconds. So each side of the side plank and 90 seconds of that front plank is going to be ideal. Alrighty, so our next fundamental exercise is our push-ups. So this is the basic of the basic push pattern. Alright, so athletes need to dominate this first before we would move them on to some sort of free weight exercise. So really good for core stability once again, and trying to maintain a nice neutral spine. So thinking about that same position we were in for the plank, so you want to try and imagine, so hands directly underneath the shoulders. Alright, we want to try and think elbows facing back, biceps facing forward. Alright, legs straight out. Alright, we're trying to keep nice and neutral spine, so try and keep the head nice and tall. From there, everything comes down as one, everything comes back up as one. Too often we see athletes, our younger athletes, dropping through the head, so the neck starts to get tired, or the hips start to get tired, either up or down. Alright, so really trying to maintain neutral spine, nice and stiff, control on the way down, and then pushing the earth away as we come back up. Awesome, so main points for that push-up position is just keeping nice neutral spine, not letting that neck dip down, not letting the hips rise up, not letting the hips rise down. Nice neutral spine, thinking that energy flowing is one, down, up, nice and strong. So no energy leaking through the neck or through the lumbar spine. Awesome. And so ideally for those push-ups for our juniors, we're looking for them to get around 20 to 40 reps in one hit out. Alright, so that's ideal before we would progress them on. Alrighty, so our next primal pattern is our lunging pattern. So very dominant pattern when it comes to sports. So we're not always going to be on both legs. So at some stage we're going to be in some sort of a split stance. So very important pattern for when we're running. So for our lunge position, I'd usually like to start our athletes in a split stance and just maintaining, so nice tall, neutral spine, thinking abs before we go down, so nice big inhale, little draw in of the belly button towards the spine, and then slowly coming down through that lunge, and then nice and tall back up. Nice and slow and control back down. Nice and strong back up. If the athlete is struggling with range of coming down, we grab a foam roller or some sort of box just to shorten up that range a little bit so the athlete knows where to work down to, so they have a little bit of feedback. So as you would come down, little touch that roller, nice and strong back up. So that just gives a little bit of feedback of where to go to. Because too often we see our athletes trying to go too low to the ground and they lose core stability as they're coming closer to the ground. So we'd shorten up that range, get nice and tight, and focus on that. Awesome, so our next progression from just that split stance is our actual walking lunges. So ideally we would like to get our athletes to around 10 to 20 walking lunges before we progress them to some sort of weighted split stance. So same idea, once the athlete has dominated that positioning, core stiffness, neutral spine, then we can add in that stepping forward and straight into mimicking almost like a sprinting stance. So from there you can work them backwards, up and back down. Alright, so next one is our squat. So another very dominant primal pattern that we'd like to get our athletes to be able to do efficiently. So for our squat pattern, you want to take a nice natural stance underneath the hips. Everyone's squat stance is going to be a little bit different, as we'll get into. From there, we're just going to think exact same as that lunge position. So a nice big brace to the core. We're going to initiate the movement through the knees first. So we're going to think nice big belly breath, draw belly button into spine, coming down, and then up nice and strong. Alright, once again, nice big belly breath, draw belly button into spine, nice and strong down, initiate the movement through the knees, up nice and strong. Alright, too often we see our athletes either coming too far forward or not enough range down. Alright, so I'm very similar to that. So most times when I squat, I'll elevate my heels just because my ankles, I struggle with dorsiflexion, so getting my knees over toes. Alright, so that's something that I need to work on. But for our athletes, our juniors, and for even our older athletes, we can just grab like a slant board or even just weight plates, and then from there, you'll notice that I'll get some more knee over toes and it'll just be a more efficient position for myself. So once again, we'll think big belly breath, draw belly button into spine, from there, drive those heels in, and I can get a lot deeper into that squat in a nice upright position. Up nice and strong, back down, up nice and strong. Awesome, so the ideal reps that we're looking for that one is anywhere between 30 to 45 reps within a minute, and that's just bodyweight squats. Awesome, right, next one is our pull pattern. So first up we're going to look at our vertical pull, so that is our pull-up. So for our junior athletes or anyone in general, we're aiming for around 5 to 15 reps at bodyweight from a full hang position. Alright, so for our pull-ups, a nice neutral grip. So we usually start with an underarm grip or a neutral grip to the side. Alright, the chin up can come after, that can be the progression. Alright, so starting with the pull up from the neutral grip, we want to start with a nice long position. Alright, from there we're going to inhale, lock in our scap, so back and down, and then we're going to pull all the way up to chin over bar. Alright, all the way back down, nice and long, lock our scaps in, all the way up, nice and tall. Nice and long. Making sure we're coming to that long position each time. Right, that full lockout, nice and tall, chin over bar. So once again, 5 to 15 reps of body weight is our aim for that one. Alright, so the regression before we go into our pull-up, so our vertical pull, is going to be our horizontal pull. Alright, so this is what we want to dominate first before we jump into that vertical position. Alright, so we want to try and find that most horizontal position we can maintain, alright, through the whole movement. Alright, so our aim for this is around 15 reps at body weight. Alright, Alright, awesome. So for our horizontal pull, we're looking for that underarm grip first before we progress over to that overhand grip. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to approach the bar. Alright, so we want chest underneath bar, underarm grip, so palms facing you. From there, we're trying to keep spine nice and neutral. Alright, so abs on. From there, we're going to have a nice big pull up. Whole body comes up as one. Chest to bar. Nice and slow and controlled back down. Brace abs. All comes up as one. Alright? A few little faults that we see in our junior athletes is too much lifting from the upper body and not keeping that spine nice and neutral and coming up as one. Alright, so our cue for that is stay long, nice neutral spine, keep abs on, and think hips are rising the same time as our chest rises. Alright, so once again, palms under, nice neutral spine, abs on, whole body comes up as one. Back down as one. Alrighty guys, so that is our basically the basics. Those are the fundamental exercises we like to get our juniors nailing before we progress to those more complex exercises. So yeah, we'll nail those first and then the gym is yours. Awesome.